Right, so I'm pushing up and down on the right stick. Let's actually bring in a thing I made for demonstrations. Called controller display. So you can see the controller in the bottom left. Let's actually turn off the thermo. That'll probably help. So you can see I'm pushing up and down on the right stick, left and right. So up looks up, down looks down. And when I have inverted camera on, then it's the other way around. I push down and the camera looks up, push up and the camera looks down. So that's all as expected. And that's built into the controller sensor. However, characters, first person character. So so people often use like the, let's turn that off because that's scary, first person character thing, which is nice and cool. That works fine. And down looks down, up looks up. Let's see if it works with this. So now we're inverted, but down still looks down and up still looks up. Whoa, let's turn that off before I throw up. That's because it doesn't use the puppet camera. If we turn preview visibility off, somewhere in here, X-ray as well. I think maybe in that chip there. Camera position. Yeah, that is the camera being used. And I'm not going to start digging around too much into the logic, but what's this looking for? Ooh, weird. So that camera looks around and looks up and down based on like controller stuff in here somewhere. No. Controller. So that's like wired out, right stick local, then goes out there, and out there, and somewhere over here to control the angle the camera is looking at. But the problem is, none of that takes into account that setting, because it's manually looking at the right stick as opposed to using like the built-in settings. So even though this is MM's thing, it's still not like an actual base puppet that is just got some settings. It's a very complicated, like fully featured thing all by itself. Let's do that again. Whereas this one doesn't have a separate camera, and it just uses the controller sensor. So I don't know why I went in there, but I just wanted a controller sensor. So if I just delete those other characters, so it's not actually the puppet that has a special camera with it that works in a different way. It's built into the controller sensor, which is why you have a camera properties tab. So if I if I just do this like that, so it has exactly the same like camera lock thing to the controller sensor itself. And looking up looks up, looking down looks down, and we invert the Y. And looking up looks down, pushing down looks up. So it's actually better if you can. So people have made like awesome custom rigs, but if you can, most of the time you can get away with just tweaking a regular puppet. So if I grab a normal puppet, I'll show you how to. Oh, it's inverted. Whoa, scary. So let's have a look at how to make it. I don't know. Kind of convert it into a first-person puppet. So I'll make a first-person puppet out of a normal puppet. So just stamp down a normal puppet. Yeah, I need that. So if we go into playtest mode, so the camera sensor has a distance from it. If we open it over here, it has a distance from the puppet and a height, which is like where it's looking and stuff, and a tilt. So these kind of come into play as the place it wants to be, as opposed to the place it always is. So if the player goes like, I'm gonna look down here, as they move around and the camera moves left and right, it tries to get back to these settings. So you've got field of view and aperture, which makes stuff further away blurry. So the one we want is to make it 0 distance, because we want it right in the head like that. So that's like that, but then the head's in the way. The general gist is you got to make it invisible. So you leave it powered, have it invisible. Something to, so let's try. Let's make it force possession. The controller sensor, force possession, and now it will just be possessed no matter what. So you can still see the head because of some reason. That's better. So now it's a first person puppet, but if you look over there, then we're not facing the right way. So on the puppet tweak itself, we have face camera direction. So that should fix that. So you can look around and it tries to keep the same position. It kind of wobbles around a bit. That's because of another tweak called breathiness. So if you play time, I just want to stand still. So breathiness is that kind of look as if it's breathing, of course. So if you turn that down, now it's not like breathing while you're just standing still. There are all sorts of other settings that you can mess with in how the character stands and behaves and stuff, so that it smooths this out, like it not going ahead. I think you reduce lean and things like that, but that's the really easy way of just making a first person puppet.